So Nsync got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And I'm like, heck yeah, boy. They deserve it. I mean, Backstreet Boys got one. And let's look back for a minute. Backstreet Boys broke records for album sales back in 99. And the very next year, Nsync broke theirs. So they definitely should get one of those. And when I first heard that they were getting a star on the Walk of Fame, I was hyped. And I was also like, yeah, man, they deserve that. Yeah. Because when you think of boy bands of the era, it's Backstreet Boys and Nsync. You can't just say one. You know, that's one of the reasons why there's always that infamous, the infamous Backstreet Boys versus Nsync, because they were both super hot at around the same time, both on top of the world at the pop scene, kind of making what was. Now, if you're coming across this video and you don't know me, I freaking love Nsync. Yes, I do. But I'm not your stereotypical fan, or typical fan, I should say. I made a crap ton of videos. I mean, look at this. I made a crap ton of videos on these guys. I've spent hours and hours and hours and hours of my life trying to study their harmonies and dissect them. And I do my best to try to pick them out, and then I try my best to lay them out and then show them to you guys. Oh, and quick point before I move on, please, if you watch any of those videos, always look in the description or comments, because every now and then I'll link you to something else, because sometimes I'll be like, I think I screwed up on this video, or I could re-explain something, or I find something else out where it's like, I gotta tweak that, or it actually kind of goes like this, because I want to be exact, and sometimes I go back and try to study some more. So please, if you look at any of those videos, any of them at all, doesn't matter, just make sure you look in the description and the comments. Oh, I'm also a big Backstreet Boys fan too, by the way. I personally really love vocal harmonies, and I also grew up during that pop era. I was a little boy during that pop era, so I definitely have that pop music influence in me. So I definitely love groups like Nsync and Backstreet Boys, but I need to reiterate that I am a huge harmony lover. And when it comes to Nsync, a lot of their harmonies are, a lot of the harmony arrangements are are just really great. Some of them are very complex. If you take your time to study their harmonies, there's, it's not just your simple stuff. I know they thank Robin Wiley, who did, a lot of their arrangements, and a lot of the arrangements that she did, like I Thought She Knew, like you got to pay attention to I Thought She Knew. I mean, it's their 5-part harmony a cappella piece, but if you just listen to the blends there, they're doing so much stuff in there. It's amazing. So I definitely have a huge appreciation for Nsync, and they very much deserve the Walk of Fame, not just because of their achievements, but the amount of complexity to some of their arrangements. It's man, it's very special to me. I mean, behind the boy band, which is what was working for them at the time, they are a harmony group, and that was important to them, which is also important to groups like Backstreet Boys. Harmonies really mattered to a lot of the groups at the time. Okay, so let's get into it. So I'm watching this thing, right? I have this small hope in my heart that they will sing something, anything, 1 minute, a second, anything at all, just a little snippet, just to hear that harmonized sound again. You know, they did their whole thing at that VMAs show, which all the videos I hear, it sounds like there's a track there. I'm not gonna be like, you're lip syncing, you suck. I'm not doing that, but it kind of sounded tracky to me. But these guys know how to harmonize, man. They've done their a cappella pieces. Look it up on YouTube. They've done it all, man. They've done all their a cappella pieces live. I Thought She Knew, they've done live, man. So they can do it. And I was hoping, man. I know Backstreet Boys didn't, but I mean, Backstreet Boys, they can sing all the time. You can catch them singing anywhere. Nsync, this was their shot. They're not doing anything. They're probably not going to do anything ever again. You know? Not in the near future. Doesn't sound like it is. Justin Timberlake's on top of the world. Doesn't seem like he cares that much of bringing it back. JC, out of all of them, he really doesn't seem like he wants to bring it back. With him and Justin, it's more like, oh, they appreciate what was. Something I appreciate with Lance is that he always seems to be still excited to talk about it, you know? And Chris and Joey just seem like down guys. Like they'll do it. But man, I'm like, you know what would be sick at a moment like this? Perform just like a little bit of I Thought She Knew. I mean, that's hard to do. Maybe do something with a full chorus, because that one's a whole a cappella arrangement. It's kind of like you can't start and then not finish it. Why didn't you just do it? I don't know what the constraints was, but who cares about them? It's about you, you know? Oh, why didn't you do it, man? The crowd was going, sing, 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 sing. Give him something. Just a little something, man. It's not like you're going to pick up and go on tour just because you sang a song, you know? And they would have appreciated it so much. I would have. Now, I didn't see the rest of the footage. Imagine they sang a little something afterwards, and then like a video will come up on YouTube, and then I'll feel like crap because I was ranting that I was disappointed that they didn't. It would have been nice, man. It's so nice, man. And you're talking about how you appreciate the fans. Give them a little something. You know? Oh, man. I was kind of bummed about that. Now, their speeches were kind of short, man. I was kind of like, oh, I would have loved to hear, like, history, a little bit of story. I guess we can hear all that from, like, behind the music stuff from way back when, VH1 or whatever it's called. But, nah, that would have been the perfect time. When Chris Kirkpatrick went up there, who he basically formed Nsync, basically. Oh, man, I was hoping that he'd give a little more of a longer, heartfelt speech. You know, it's like, oh, man, I had a vision for this group. I started it, and I went to Lou Pearlman, and he told me, go find some guys, and I would look for this, and this guy, and I found these boys, and now they're like my friends, blah, 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 blah. You know, go on a tangent and go deep into the music side. But I guess they were told to keep it short, which blows. Why? Why would you do that, man? It's a special time. Rant on. Anyway, so as a fan, I know they want to get back to the fans. They opened up that Nsync shop thing, which from my understanding is not going to last, but they want to put out merch. As for me, I don't know if I would buy like a bunch of merch from Nsync, like a 23-year-old dude walking around with an Nsync shirt. Who knows? Maybe I'll do it. Times are changing, you know? Back when you were, see, when I was a little boy, right? I loved Backstreet Boys, and it was cool for a while. All the boys liked Backstreet Boys, all the girls liked Spice Girls. But once you got to about 8 years old, and you're getting more into, what is really cool, and what is, what is, I guess, like, boyishly cool, you know what I mean? Like, liking Backstreet Boys isn't cool anymore. You gotta like rock music, you know what I mean? So eventually it stopped becoming cool. So when I was between the ages of like 8 and maybe like 17 or something, it definitely was embarrassing, and you tried to not talk about it that much. But I'm a little older now. I'm even making a YouTube channel about it, so people are seeing this, so kind of awkward, but I guess I have to live with it. It's kind of my own fault, but anyway, so yeah, they're doing all this Nsync merch stuff, but I always say all the time, and for those of you who listen to me this far, I appreciate it, but this is what I want from Nsync. Nsync, if you're listening, which I don't know if you even bother, like, whatever, but I always say this, okay? Nsync, an amazing way to give back. You guys are singers, right? I always say this in my videos. Well, not always, but like often. A great way to give back is, and this is just my idea, if you guys get together like once every 2 years, even 3, whatever, just once in a while, come together. Some of you guys have written and produced. Write a couple songs, like 2, just 2. Maybe one's an acapella, so you don't even need to make a track. Come together, produce, write a couple songs, and then release it out just on the internet. Just to give back to the fans and say that, oh, we're throwing out music out there. Just like tiny bits. It should not take that much time to write 2 songs, produce 2 songs, and throw it out there on the internet. You don't have to tour. You don't have to do press. You don't have to learn dancing arrangements. Like, I personally don't care for like them having to tour and doing the arrangements. I mean, I would love that, but like it doesn't sound like they're up to it. But just to give back to the fans right now, they can do this right now. It's not that hard, from my understanding. You know, just to get together, maybe like every 2 years or 3 years, just get together, make a little something, and then put it on the internet. And you know what else you can do to give back? Maybe perform one of those songs live on a YouTube channel. Again, you don't have to tour, you don't have to do press, you don't got to do any of that. It's just to give back to the fans. That's it. And even if you want, you can somehow monetize those. You can put it on iTunes, earn a couple dollars. We all want/need to make money. Nothing wrong with that. And oh man, if they could just do that, something. They have such a huge fan base, and sometimes I think to myself, did they realize what they got? Their harmonies were so great. They had a good harmony understanding. They made some great pop hits. They have a huge fan base. You know, they're all still alive. Some people die. You know what I mean? They could give back. And this is not me being mad at them. It's just there's so much potential there, and you don't even need to get back together, sign a record contract, go out and tour all over the world. You know, I've heard Joey say that touring got really tiring after a while, which is so understandable. And they're not super young anymore, but they don't have to do it. And, you know, the fact that they would put anything out, it would get so much media attention anyway. They don't even need to do it on their own. If they wanted to, just decline all the press that are trying to get a hold of you. You don't need to do it. Just put it on your own Facebook. We're just giving this back to you. That's it. We're not touring or anything. We do this because we appreciate you. We do it because we love the music, like they said on their during their speech there. And congratulations, boys. You guys deserve it. But, man, Nsync, you guys, me and a lot of the other fans, and especially me, a guy who appreciates and very much analyzes the musical side of what you guys do. You know, I'm not just one of these people who just were googly-eyed for you guys, for what you guys were from back in the day. You know, cute, smooth voices, you know, pop band, you know, like people who really, and a lot of my subscribers, man, they really value what I'm talking about. You know, a lot of my subscribers are dudes. I think most of them are dudes, and they're like me. You know, you can't say like all these dudes are all in it for the cute looks and smooth lovey-dovey pop songs, which if you like that stuff, nothing wrong with that. You know, Nsync, they're a boy band, they're going to get a lot of fangirls and who are going to be loyal. That's great. But, you know, you have all the other fans who appreciate the music too. So, you know, just, oh man, you got so many great loyal fans out there. It'd be nice to hear from you guys musically. And it doesn't even take that much, from my understanding. I don't know how busy you guys are, which I'm sure you guys are super busy, but if you guys can get together just, I don't know, like one time during a couple years, just throw something together. Is that it? Maybe that's it. Yep, so if you listen to all this, thanks, man. Thanks. I'm sure it was long. If you like Nsync, you know, maybe check out my videos. You might like some of it. There's definitely a lot of Nsync stuff. If you're interested in singing and stuff, I do my best to try to pick out the vocals. If I do say so myself, a lot of them are pretty accurate. My favorite's the Oh Holy Night. I spent 3 or 4 months studying that, and actually a little bit more than that because I'd been studying it for a few years, but I sat down and seriously studied it for about 3 or 4 months, and I did the cover, and I also did a tutorial, so you get to learn how they did it. And because there's no musical track, it was a lot easier to pick out. So when there's musical tracks, it becomes a lot harder because there's a strong musical presence sometimes, but that one had no track. So I did my best to pick out the harmonies, and if I do say so myself, it's pretty accurate, and I'm pretty proud of myself. So if you guys want to check that out, thanks a lot. Congratulations, Nsync. You know, I really like your music. You got some great hits. Great harmonies. I thought she knew was one of my favorite songs ever. I sing it almost every day in the shower. And yeah, so peace and love and ice cream cake. God bless. Go Nsync.